Hello and welcome to the Too Much Time on Our Hands podcast. If you're joining us on the stream tonight, thank you very much. Hello, wave everyone, just wave. That's why they're here. Wave. Hello everyone, thank you very much. If you're listening to us as well, if you're listening to us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever platform or podcatcher you're deciding to listen to us on, thank you very much as well. You're joining us for the fourth Bond-centric podcast. We're basically ranking all the Bond films. We smashed through Connery and we added in Lazenby there. We smashed through Roger Moore. We're smashing through Timothy. We smashed through Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan. And we're now on to the final chapter, which is, of course, the Craig films. And we're going to be ranking them as well. And by the end of this podcast, we will have a fantastic definitive list of the best films, although not including No Time to Die, because none of us have seen that yet, so we can't actually rank it. So the four films from Craig that we're going to be ranking are, of course, Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre.
I've got a very quick. I'm going to call it a Duncan dope, which is that I nearly went to see No Time to Die yesterday, but I didn't in the end because I'm not feeling great.
Fascinating. Yeah, my equivalent of that is I might go and see it soon, but I might not.
Yeah. Duncan, any thoughts on this?
These are brilliant stories.
I'm fascinated. I love these kind of tidbits.
Go on for the book.
Also, Tom, I'm devastated to inform you, but your pose at the start was unseen by everybody because the title sequence was still going.
For posterity's sake, I was doing this. Looking like the most shit Bond ever.
Oh, he's just one of the Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. Na.
So as we confidently said 3 episodes ago, this is the last one of our Bond episodes.
Yes, this is the last one.
Oh my God.
It has been exhaustive. But before we get into the meat of the potatoes, as they say, no one's ever said that, let's just introduce ourselves very quickly. Russ, hello.
Good evening.
Duncan, hello.
Good evening.
Dan, hello.
I tell you what, Tom, I am so fucking sick of James Bond now. It's ridiculous.
It's all right, Dan. There's only one to go. And I, as Dan alluded to, am Tom. And don't forget that all the ladies want to be on D. So, with that...
Bond!
Bond. All the ladies, they want to be on D.
Who's D?
Fucking hell.
Be on D. They want to be on D. D. The D. Anyway, never mind. I'll draw you a
Which
picture
one,
later on.
Dan or Duncan?
No, neither of you two dirty bastards. Right, okay, so introduction's done. The introduction is done. Obviously, listen back to the other podcasts. All of these are going up at the same time, so you can listen to them all in a massive, great big catalogue. You'll hear little roundups at the end. But we are going to crack on. I mean, what are we going to do? What, Dan? What? We're just going to go straight in. In 2000 and, I want to say 6?
Yes, 2006.
2006, it was confirmed that Daniel Craig was taking over the Bond character from Pierce Brosnan, after Pierce Brosnan had also said, I'm not going to be Bond anymore because I've done 4 films in the last one, even though it was a box office smash. It was really poorly received, so we need a bit of a freshen up. And of course, boom, back to the silver screen with arguably one of the best Bond films ever made. Daniel Craig starred as the rebooted character of James Bond in Casino Royale. But this was not the first time that Casino Royale had been made into a film. It had, in fact, in the 60s, been made into a spoof starring David Niven as the old James Bond recruiting a new Bond to become the James Bond, which in that universe was a code name being given to a younger agent, and it was a spoof, as I said. This one, a gritty reimagining of the original very first James Bond novel, of course, Casino Royale. I think it's fucking brilliant. I'm going to open up to the floor. What do we think?
I think it's fucking brilliant.
I think it's fucking brilliant, yeah.
I think it's fucking brilliant. There was a TV series. This is the only one that's considered the official Bond Casino Royale.
Oh yeah, the David Niven one is ridiculous. It's less of a Bond than Never Say Never Again.
They reinvented Bond. They made it into a modern action film, and they did it without having to give up anything of what makes James Bond James Bond. It's still very much a James Bond film,
it's awesome.
But they turned it into a modern action film, and it worked really, really well.
And it's one of like the leanest films. There's nothing extraneous to it. The plot is super simple.
Yeah.
Nothing's overindulged or dwelt on too long, even though like a good third of it is a fucking card game, and it still manages to be exciting.
Yeah, we discussed before whether that the meme of where they've superimposed a 40k battle in front of the Chief,
Yeah,
which may have been more entertaining for us.
But these days it would be a D&D game, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
It would still be. Everyone would still watch that.
Yeah.
However, of course, what happens in this version of Casino Royale, which I have to say doesn't diverge massively from the novel that it's based on. In
Not
fact,
usually,
there's an awful lot of things, set pieces, for example, that happen. You know, it's all based around this card game of lost money and a card game set up to win that money back, and Bond kind of interrupting and winning. But obviously, back then it was written in the context of the Cold War. You know, Le Chiffre was a SMERSH agent, you know, a Soviet spy, if you like, sort of a financier for spies. In this universe, obviously, this is the first of what would become the kind of quantum Spectre as the big looming bad that sort of, you know, is orchestrating all these events. And, you know, it's kind of been brought up to date. I think it leans heavily into the kind of gritty atmosphere that the Bourne films were very good at doing. And also, you know, it was very sort of in fashion at the time. Like Batman was going through a very gritty reimagining as well. So it was leaning really heavily into that kind of sort of in vogue way of doing it.
He's the blunt instrument in this.
He is.
That's what they go through. Like you see, it starts off with him retelling his first kill before he makes his second kill, and the first kill is incredibly messy. Just this guy in a toilet, basically, just a massive punch up, throwing each other into urinals, essentially, just making massive amounts of mess.
Drowns him in a sink.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's completely different from anything we've really seen with Bond before. This is like he's throwing punches. He's not drinking his martini and then pulling a gun on someone and very cleverly doing anything. He's, as you say, this is heavily inspired by the Bourne films and the Batman films that were around at the same time. So yeah.
Well, it opens like it's a film noir because it's all black and white. And it's
I've got a funny story about that.
Is it a funny story or is it a Duncan dope?
It's a funny story.
Okay.
So
I don't want it. I don't want to hear this. How is it going to go in the autobiography?
This is what the people came for.
When I worked in a DVD retailer at the time, and we had so many. The day it came out, we had many people try and bring it back because they were complaining that it was in black and white and that they hadn't calibrated the color properly.
Do they not watch past like the first 10 minutes?
It's literally like 4 minutes. That's
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we had like a handful of people bringing it back. Think, apparently that this must be a Duff batch, and then we all went, no, wait, it starts in black and white. So yeah.
But after that, what I love so much is that it has the iconic gun barrel moment, which again has been reimagined. You know, he walks away from the dude, you know, who he thinks he's drowned. The guy suddenly reaches for his gun. Yeah. Craig spins really quickly. Boom, bang.
So that's the first like in media res gun barrel, isn't it? It's not just a separate thing. It comes organically out of what he's doing.
Yeah,
really nicely done.
Fantastic. Intro sequence with all the poker card suits and the cards flying around and him, you know, involved in some pretty nasty fights. You know, with like it was all done in like kind of white and black silhouettes, wasn't it? With like white splashes of white as blood and black.
Well,
it was
a splash like
fabulous.
They just used the suits. So if someone's spilling blood, it's blood coming out of the veins is always the hearts. It's always the hearts. It's not the diamonds. The diamonds and the spades are used. Are like
the 3D like. It's obviously that sequence. Somebody had got a motion capture suite and was like, "I've got a banging idea for this." But they all the 3D models are made of the suit symbols as well. So like the baddies are just made out of loads of black spades all stitched together to form the suits and things. And like when he punches them, they sort of fracture apart, and you can see that they're made up of like clubs or diamonds or whatever. It's really nicely done.
Probably the one bad thing about it though is that the theme for Casino Royale wasn't immediately one that I mean I rewatched it over the weekend with the missus in.
I've got to say, it sounds like you're about to say something massively wrong.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I'm not going to say massively wrong. I'm saying it was unexpected. I was expecting. Well, I didn't really know what to expect. All I know at the time, and I'm rewatching it again, I never expect that theme song to be the one that plays over Casino Royale, but it's actually...
I'll let you off. Yeah, I've got to say it's not what I was expecting at all, but it's a fucking banger.
It's great.
On No Dogs in Space, they when they're talking about the Damned, they call them the Masters of the Delay. Oh, fuck yeah. Which is a song that starts kind of slow, and you go, okay, and then you get to the chorus, and you're like, oh, fuck yes. And that is what the theme tune is as well. And that's why it doesn't quite... You kind of eases you into it, and it gets to the chorus, and then just explodes. Yeah,
I let you in. It's the best Bond theme where it's not actually naming the film. Because all the other good Bond themes always reference the film. I'm going to say this is better than Nobody Does It Better.
I mean, okay, it references the film, but it's not the name of the song.
Yeah. But I just say I think this is okay. My opinion is that this is the best one that doesn't actually.
So it was You Know My Name.
Yeah.
Chris Cornell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like a slightly
written by Dan Arnold.
When they're announcing who's going to do the new Bond theme, it's it's a bit like who the kids are into right now.
Yeah.
Whereas nobody really had any idea who they were going to get then.
This was Chris Cornell just coming off the back of Audioslave as well. So we'd never heard him really... like the fans of Chris Cornell will have heard him do things like that, but the general public will know him from Soundgarden and Creepy Videos and Audioslave, and probably mostly one song from Audioslave as well, for that matter.
The score, meanwhile, was David Arnold, who had done the score for Tomorrow Never Dies, Die Another Day, The World Is Not Enough. So he'd done everything after GoldenEye.
And wasn't it? This one was directed by Martin Campbell, wasn't it? Or am I completely barking up the wrong tree?
I actually don't know who directed. Yeah, Martin Campbell.
Yeah, Martin Campbell. Yes.
Also directed the previous reboot in GoldenEye.
Yes. Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, 2 for 2. I mean,
but like not clawing back to that style at all. It's not trying to be GoldenEye.
No,
just like GoldenEye wasn't trying to be a Moore film or whatever. It's very it's like of its time in the same way that GoldenEye was of its time.
I think the best bit for me is that it gives it reimagines the 00s as well. Like 00 agents are now, painted as almost the elite black ops of MI6 rather than being
just
suave.
MI6.
Yeah, rather than being suave, sophisticated spies who sort of seem to operate in a different world to everyone else.
They're more bluntly assassins rather than, I can do everything.
And they talk about their license to kill in very discretionary terms. It's like you're going to be going on missions, and actually it's up to you. You are now, because you've been able to pull off 2 assassinations, that were required. You are now able to, you're sanctioned to kill if you feel the threat is enough that you have to do it. Like, Bond even says to Q, I think in Skyfall, Q says. Bond says, well, why do you need me if you can do so much damage on your laptop? And Q sort of flippantly goes, well, sometimes a trigger needs to be pulled. And Bond says, or not pulled. And it's that kind of level of almost maturity, I think, with this sort of new imagining of Bond, that it's like, he's not going to kill if he doesn't have to. He's going to do it if it's necessary or in self-defense.
Which is exactly what he actually does do in the opening bit where the free running. I mean, obviously the free running was very popular at the time, still is very popular. But that's why they incorporated it. I remember seeing that and going, my God, that's insane. And it was such a good opening run sequence. But he doesn't kill any of the guards in the embassy. He deliberately avoids shooting any of the guards. They are firing at him. He does everything possible not to kill them. So he's sort of like,
because he's broken into some other country's embassy, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he makes the split decision about the bomb maker, but it's like, well, I need this because we need to be able to. Basically, he's clearing up someone else's mess.
Killing people is not easy in this film as well, and they really emphasize.
Yeah, that opening is a stunning kind of exploration and study of that. How he goes.
But it goes further than that. When Vesper Lynd has to kill the person, and you see how it affects her. Like she's then like seriously messed up from it.
Yeah.
And he then, like, there's the whole bit where he joins her in the shower and going of, Yeah, I'm not that cool with this either, if I'm honest with you. Like, I'll pretend I'm cool with it, because, this is my job, but it is quite difficult, and I do kind of get that. So let's just sit in the shower in our clothes for a bit, shall we?
And that fight sequence in the stairwell is brutal. I mean, it is fucking brutal. Like, in the first, 5 seconds of that fight, the dictator or the freedom fighter leader's bodyguard is hurled over the banister and falls 4 floors. And there's this fucking machete battle and fist fight. Bond comes away from that covered in blood and has to quickly change and then get back to the fucking poker table. It's brutal. Like, he's so on autopilot. You can see the training, in his eyes. But it is, like you say, it paints the work Bond has to do as incredibly difficult. And the fact that you're seeing a Bond become more bloodied and broken throughout this film really does hammer that home, that he's a human man. He's far more fallible than any Bond we've seen before. He's not going to walk away from every fight intact.
The bit where he's poisoned is genuinely tense as well.
Yeah, and he has to get saved, doesn't he? Which isn't something that really happens to Bond much.
Yeah.
No, that's the point, isn't it? It's like for the want of a dodgy cable, and for the want of someone coming along and reconnecting it, Bond's dead.
It's so stressful, that sequence. And when he's pressing the little button and he holds up the wire, and you just know all he's got to do is plug it into there, but there's no way he can do it.
It reminds me of any time I've been at anything formal and I've desperately needed a poo. It's just got that kind of feel, like you're sweating, you're going, oh my god. Okay, if you excuse me, walking funny out towards the exit.
Yeah, I do love that it's not afraid to show him vulnerable, not to. So the free running thing at the start. If that was Roger Moore, it would be very obviously a body double doing the most amazing parkour you've ever seen. Or even in the Brosnan ones, he's like, yeah, of course he can parasail up a cliff, and of course he can surf the biggest waves in the world in Hawaii or wherever it is in that opening sequence. Whereas in this one, that guy's doing the parkour, Bond just runs through walls because he obviously can't do that. Of course he can't do that. So he just charges through like a bulldozer.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that bit. And when he literally smashed through the drywall, I laughed out loud because it was this proper.
It's because it was a tiny little gap, and the guy just whoop, through it. How the fuck's he gonna? Oh, he just.
And then you see him bounce down the thing, and then Bond looks at him and goes, "Oh, there's a lift," and it just hits the hydraulic, so it just goes zoom. And it's just a brilliant, a different approach. What actually I forgot is so good is Vesper. She is phenomenal. The quips, the script is actually really good. The interaction between the two of them, it is fantastic. The train bit is one of my favorite. Meeting Vesper is one of my favorite bits of the whole thing. This goes back to the score. This is why this is such also a good Bond theme. Is they actually use the Bond theme, the song, during it. It's so well done, orchestrated, and so makes it another reason why it's a good Bond theme.
The other side of this is we haven't even mentioned Mads Mikkelsen, and
Brilliant.
He is fucking excellent as Le Chiffre. And he's so tense throughout the whole film. He is in up to his eyeballs throughout this whole film, and it's just Mads Mikkelsen can't help but be cool, but at the same time he portrays kind of I'm cool, yeah, but this is. I'm fucked. If something goes wrong here, I'm fucked. I am.
Isn't he kind of fucked? It's sort of the same with him. He's not pulling off some insane master plan with satellites and nuclear weapons and stuff. Isn't it hasn't he already lost a lot of very dangerous people's money, and he has to pull this off, or he's going to get murdered? Bond
stops.
That's it. The old airport thing. Yeah. Because Bond stops that, he owes millions of dollars to people you really don't want to owe money to.
Yeah.
So he invested all of his terrorist friends' money into stocks on that of the company that made that massive plane.
Which is that was about the time the A380 was being brought out, wasn't it? So he basically shorted Airbus stock and then it didn't get blown up.
Yeah, he was hedging against that.
So all that money gets lost, and then he decides, right, okay, I'm going to fund basically, I think it's a 50 million prize pot, whatever money I've got left, and I'm going to win it all. So I'm going to win all the people's money as well, so I can recoup. I think he's after like 130 million or something like that. He needs to win 130, and it's very tense. It's a very tense setup. Like you say, there's no grand plan apart from if I win this money, I'm not going to die. It turns out later, obviously, we find out that he's a quantum agent who, was basically being used by Mr. White to fund several things that they wanted to do, blah, blah, blah. But of course, losing all that money put him in a really fucking tight spot, which is, of course, why eventually, when Bond wins everything, it's only a matter of time before Le Chiffre gets his hands on him and uses Vesper Lynd as the way to draw Bond out and eventually torture him.
The car flip. When he swerves and the car just... it's so good.
But even that is not done with any kind of amazing shots or slow motion or anything. It's literally a brutal, over in a flash, destruction of this car. And then they drag Bond.
It's not even in slow motion, is it? It's just filmed. And like the score drops to silence at that moment and you just get...
Because he drives that car for precisely about 20 seconds in that film. Like... It's so well done because you think there's probably going to be some massive car chase and then it doesn't happen.
He is then tortured in exactly the same way as Bond is tortured in the novel, except in the novel I think they use a wicker carpet beater. Resting on the sheet. I think he tortures him with boiling hot coffee and a carpet beater, but with this one he uses a proper rope carpet beater. And I think, this again is the point: is that Le Chiffre is such a cold and calculating individual, like zero empathy. He literally just says, all these interesting ways of torturing people, but actually it's the simplest. Like, I hit you over and over again here, and you've only got a certain amount of hits before you're completely fucked down there, and you're going to lose that. So you have to decide whether you're going to yield now or when it's too late. And I love the fact that Bond's conditioning just kicks in and he starts going, people are going to know that you died scratching my balls, and like the next couple of hits he's like no to the left, and just keeps getting hit and hit and hit until he almost breaks down when he hears a girl, which it's never made quite clear whether that's the sound of screams coming from the Le Chiffre's girlfriend being shot by Mr. White, or whether it's actually Vesper Lynd, because we think, a lot of people speculate that actually Lynd by that point has already made a deal with Mr. White to save Bond, to let him live if she gives the password.
Can I briefly talk about how I went to the secret cinema for this? It was one of the best things I've ever done. Do you know what was better than this? The Blade Runner secret cinema. But this was just awesome. So it was set up, it was in a warehouse, and you're given a secret mission that you've got to go and complete, depending on what color you're wearing. So if you see other people wearing green, for example, they're on the same mission as you. And with a fake job that you've got to pretend. So I had to pretend to be a record producer, and I fucked it up royally. So they set up the whole thing in different areas, they were different areas of the film. So I had to trick my way into a crime scene that was the toilet where he gets his first kill. So then you have to steal something off the dead body, basically. But we ended up accidentally working for the bad guys. So we had the whole thing, we ended up in this room with all these people dressed like all the main villains, just going, I don't think this is what we were supposed to do. But you could see what was supposed to happen, because every now and then someone was walking around with a briefcase, and you had to figure out who was the real person to follow with the briefcase. And by the time it got to the end of it, you saw 100 people following this one person with this briefcase because they'd sussed it all out. And it ends with the person climbing up to try and escape from this 00 agent that's been following them. He shoots the 00 agent and says, we're going to need 007 for this one. And then the music kicks in, and then the screen comes down and they show Casino Royale. It was fucking excellent. It was just a truly great experience. I say the Blade Runner one was amazing as well, because it was raining inside a warehouse, which was cool. just incredible. And there was someone dressed as Deckard sitting in a noodle bar just eating noodles, and you had to go and do different things like talk to the stripper. I can't remember the name of the stripper in Blade Runner, but it was the Casino Royale one gave me. It's probably why, and I think I can say this now. It's probably why it's my favourite Bond film because I experienced it in a completely different way that was awesome. Not the only person that thinks this. Just quickly, Jamie says, good evening. Sorry, Miss Connery. That was a while ago. It feels like years ago now, Jamie. Don't worry about it, mate. Dan says, Casino Royale's the best Bond film with the best theme tune. Phil says, You Know My Name is by far the best Bond song. He says, hands down. Like, seriously, it's the best Bond song ever. Should we get some scores?
So, before we rank it, shall I just toss out the vehicles?
Yeah.
So you've got the Aston Martin DB5 that he wins at the beginning, which is a very nice nod. It's also quite a nice nod that it's literally just a DB5. There's nothing really else apart from having that wonderful blue and yellow license plate, which I think is actually the native. Is how that particular. I can't remember what country it is. Is it Bahamas? I can't remember. I think that's their license plate.
Yeah, I can't remember.
The Aston Martin DBS V12. Which, of course, fucking phenomenal car. I've got it there. I'm not going to get it out. I've got it out earlier. The Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, the Ford Mondeo 2.5 litre ST, which I think is fucking brilliant because that is what actually Russ said. You know, all of these really fancy cars Bond's driving around, what you'd expect a spy to be in is something like a fucking Ford Mondeo.
Yeah.
That's the higher car.
It is. It's his higher car before he wins the DB5.
Yeah.
You've got Le Chiffre and Mr. White's Jaguar XJ8s. Very cool cars. And then you've also got a Range Rover Sport. And you also have, interestingly, I noticed this while I was watching the film, Range Rover Vogues as well, which are driven by Le Chiffre's henchman when he goes to see the Freedom Fighter. They're all in Vogues, which I think is just like, what a random car to be driving around in.
Do you want the gadgets as well?
Yeah,
hit me. The Sony Ericsson K800 mobile phone sophisticated GPS and 3.2 megapixel digital camera.
I have one of those. Phenomenal phone.
The ability to take multiple pictures very rapidly. The microchip implant, he has a chip implanted in his arm so people know where he is at all times. Explosive keychain, remote detonated by a cell phone message, and the portable defibrillator.
It's not
gadgets.
Gadgety,
and the
is it?
antitoxins.
But he uses all of them.
And he has all the antitoxins and he has all the antivenoms and things like that, yeah.
That's a great little touch. They've got like this array of antivenoms and like the doctor will tell you like which ones to combine and take or whatever.
And I think there's this slidey outy bit which also hides. So the car was obviously imported by MI6, and it's obviously got a gun in it, so that when he gets on the scene, he can get his gun out of that little hidden compartment, which is quite cool.
Oh, that is quite cool actually. I like that.
And it gets trashed. It gets completely fucked.
He drives it for about 10 seconds in the whole film, doesn't he?
I think it's the most flips over like a physically real stunt, and it was just your classic hydraulic, your pneumatic ram out one side of the car.
Yeah,
they weren't going for a record, I don't think, but it just fucking went.
It's so effective though. It works so well in the film.
It's a shame to see a car that cool get fucked up completely.
It is a gorgeous. That might be my favourite. Like if I could have any of the cars, it might be that one.
It was an awesome one. I'm sure he drives it more. There is another. I'm sure there's another bit he does. Yeah, no, he drives it through the town centre briefly before.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's the only bit. I'm saying that he barely drives it in the film.
Yeah,
he drives it.
That's the only bit where he's driving it fast.
Yeah, he drives it more than he does the DB5, which he literally just drives round the fountain, doesn't he, and back to the
up the drive and back down again.
Yeah.
Funny enough, another DBS V12 actually appears in the next film, which does get a very cool car chase.
You might have to remind me about that film.
We'll get onto that problematic film.
We're like 40 minutes in and we're only got through one film. This is going to end up being part 4 or 5 if we're not careful.
No.
So let's get some scoreage.
Won't take long at all.
We'll crash through these. Yeah, Quantum of bootlaces.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, score. Well,
okay, so
whatever it is.
We'll do gadgets and car first then.
Okay.
I'm going to go 4 for that. Although it's not super gadgety, they're all cool and vaguely realistic, and the car is phenomenal.
Both cars as well, yeah.
In the context of the film, I'm going to give it a 4 as well. Yeah, because it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4.
Cool. Right. I went with that because that might be the lowest score. Villain. fucking awesome. One of my favourite Bond villains.
Yeah, he's really cool.
I love him. He's getting a 5 from me.
One of the only Bond villains, in fact, probably the only Bond villain that dies in the second act.
Yeah.
And is largely, isn't even present for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets a 4 for me.
Yeah. Okay. So what did you go, Russ?
I haven't gone yet. I'm going to go 4 as well, I think.
Okay.
Great villain. Love the blood coming out of his eye as his like signature deformation. I mean, it's not great that all the villains have to be physically deformed in some way. It's not great.
They
but then
need to move away from that now.
He's also asthmatic.
The only film where they don't do that is one of the worst ones. So never mind. I just love that he's just like a desperate for money and going, "That's all right, I've got a system," which has never ended well for anybody.
I've got a plan.
Right, Duncan.
Yeah, 4. He's great, but he is asthmatic. So be careful of the asthmatics because we're all mega evil, obviously.
Names. I like the names. We've got Le Chiffre. We've got
Vesper
Vesper Lind, obviously.
Is a great name.
Solange is the.
Yeah.
Demetrius.
Yeah.
Mr. White.
Mr. White.
Rene Mathis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like. He's brilliant. I love him.
Turns out to be utterly innocent.
And I want to include this somewhere. Jeffrey Wright as Felix Leiter is genius casting as well.
It's brilliant.
So I kind of want to give it extra points somewhere for that. So I'm going to give it 4 for names.
I'm going 4 as well.
Yeah, it's got a 4 from me.
Yeah, it gets 4 from me.
Okay.
Theme tune.
I mean, it's 5. It's not my favourite, but it is definitely worthy of the top score I can give it.
Yeah, I'm giving it 5.
It's a 4 from me.
It's a 4 from me.
Okay.
But I make up for it with the overall rating.
Yeah, let's go with scores then for the actual film.
10.
10 out of 10.
10. I remember going to the cinema. It was awesome. It was one of the best. It just reminded me of going to see GoldenEye. Like that time first time seeing Bond again, and seeing Bond, and then going in 2006. Well, oh my god, because the scar, the torture of Die Another Day is still in your head, and then you see this, you're like, oh my god.
God, yeah, that's true. Going from Die Another Day to this, Christ.
And don't forget, in between then, we've also had fucking not Attack of the Clones. Has an Attack of the Clones happened?
I think it was
anyway,
Revenge of the Sith, wasn't it?
Anyway, we've had the Star Wars.
Hello there.
Oh, dear, dear.
So that's got to have gotten some big scores. So we can zip through these next ones.
100. It went in pretty high.
There's probably one other film that we're going to wank on for a bit, I think, out of this lot. So let's get past Quantum of Shoelace, which came out a couple of years later.
It did suffer from the writer's strike, but it's a reason. It's not an excuse.
It's nice to see a Bond film pick up immediately after the preceding one finishes in the story. So the first Casino Royale finishes with him shooting Mr. White in the leg. And then, the next film, Quantum of Shoelace, opens up with him interrogating Mr. White and Mr. White being brought into MI6. After that, I honestly could not tell you what happened next. I mean, the only bits that I remember are the opera scene, some chase near a jetty, and then some stuff exploding in a desert, and then some guy being abandoned in the desert. It's a confusing mess for me.
There are some great little bits in this film. But what there isn't is an engaging, propulsive plot to link them all up. So that opening car chase through the quarry is great. The opera scene is great. And the escape from the opera as well, where the score keeps sort of switching from sort of like deadened silence to just heightened operatic singing with the chase through the opera hall. That's phenomenal. I'm sure there's one other good bit. I quite like the plane chase, where he's in that big old cargo plane and they're getting shot at by something.
I don't even remember it.
But
ultimately forgettable for me.
Yeah, those bits are good, but they're like something you can watch on YouTube, devoid of the context of the film, and get just as much out of them, because there's nothing linking them to anything bigger.
It went so far in the opposite direction of Casino Royale, which, like you say, was very tight, and like there was nothing hanging off it, to being brought in this global spanning conspiracy, quantum, this whole group of people with colours for last names, and it's just, I just found, I don't know, I mean, it's really sad, because Casino Royale for me is in my top 3, whereas Quantum of Solace is in my bottom 3. It was a very difficult second album for Craig.
I quite like that Bond gets wrongly accused, and so he's told to. He actually gets told to rein it in Casino Royale, because obviously he breaks into M. I know we're going back to Casino Royale, but he breaks into M's house, and he still just goes off and does his own thing, even though he's been told to go back. There's that nice little nod to Goldfinger. Well, it's not that nice, but Strawberry. The name
Strawberry
Fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying a bit too hard there, guys.
Can I just say, actually, just Duncan mentioned something that we didn't pick up on, was that I genuinely thought that in the reboot, Judi Dench as M, who I always really liked, wouldn't continue as M. So when she reappeared as an reimagined version of M, far more grounded in the politics, like at the beginning of Casino Royale, she's like disappearing from a cabinet hearing on stuff that MI6's super secret black ops.
Yeah, I love all that stuff.
It was actually so good to see Judi Dench still as M, because it was just like, oh my god,
and that's more that's what she would spend most of her time doing, if she is the actual head of MI6. Whereas all she did in the Brosnan era ones was be his boss.
Yeah, it was great that she stayed with it, and unfortunately, again in Quantum of Solace, I honestly cannot remember what she did, what she said. To me, I could easily move on to the rankings now and decimate this film.
So I actually like the idea of Quantum of Shoelaces, which was the water, controlling the water,
great
idea. and supporting a terrorist, supporting a coup d'etat. And I liked the leaving him in. I thought that was brutal, leaving him in the desert with just oil to drink.
Own motor oil.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, which is confirmed in the next one, that he did drink it to try and stay alive.
But then 2 gunshots.
2 bullets in the base of his skull. I bet you get 20 miles before you consider drinking that. Yeah, it's
It just ends though, doesn't it? That's the big problem. It just literally ends, and it's like, okay.
And it doesn't end with him confronting the person who's meant to have turned Vesper.
Yeah, but there's no.
Yeah, that's just like a little separate.
It just literally goes, and this is the end, and here's the end. It's ended, and now it's over. And there's no build up to it whatsoever.
It goes from a cacophony to an ending, and then you're done.
Yeah. Right, should we number this one up?
Just quickly, some comments from Paul. He says the best description of Quantum I read is that it's like they drew the storyboard in a large pane of glass, dropped it, and couldn't quite put it back together again. And he says also shout out to the guy that's sweeping the air. Have you seen this? The guy in the background.
Oh yeah,
one of the scenes who's just sweeping. It's amazing. Anyway, let's score it in terms of gadgets. By the way, just quickly, Sony Ericsson C902, because they obviously had a
not as good a phone.
No. Built-in identification imager, capable of compiling a composite facial image of potential suspects, even when the person being photographed is looking to the side. The phone can also receive information immediately regarding the suspect, as it also ties to the MI6 data mainframe. Multi-touch table computer as well.
Oh, nice. Car-wise, Alfa Romeo 159, you've got a 156, you've got the DBS V12, a different coloured one, but still a DBS V12, an Audi A6, a Ford car, hydrogen fuel cell model. Ford Edge, hydrogen fuel cell model.
Wait, sorry, you can get a hydrogen fuel celled Ford car?
Well, in the film you can, yes. You got the Ford
You would be able to
Bronco.
get so many traffic cones in there. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, you've got the Ford Bronco 2, the Jaguar XJ12 Daimler Century, which is actually a fucking awesome car. Range Rover Sport, Land Rover Defender S90, and a Volvo S40.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Gadget-wise,
yeah. Let's get some scores. Gadgets then. Let's start with gadgets.
2.
2 from me.
Yeah, 2. There's nothing really interesting done with them.
Yeah. 2, because I don't really remember them.
Villain.
Well, it's Mr. Green, who is Green with an E. Yeah, I mean, it's just a bit boring.
I'm going to go 1. It's probably not really... What's his name?
Well.
Mathieu Ulmerich. Is that him? No, that's not him, is it?
It is... Hang on. Yeah, Matthew
it's him.
Ulmerich, yeah.
He's good, and I think he does the best he can with it. And I like the bit at the end where he just loses it and goes nuts, but forgets he's not a very good fighter and chops his own toe off with an axe.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, he gets a 2.
But
that's
it's I like his plan should be good and threatening, but it's just really unclear what he's doing all the time. His main henchman just stands around going, yeah, I'm going 1.
Yeah, it's getting a 1.
But it's not the actor's fault.
No, but still.
2.
2. Okay, so that's... Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's 6 in total. Names? I mean...
1.
2.
1.
Strawberry Fields loses points.
Yeah,
That's
so 1.
too silly for a
1
post
from me as well.
60s Bond. And the fact that they called the main baddie, whose plan is all around the environment and sustainability, they called him Mr. Green, loses them marks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a 1 from me. Did you say 1 as well, Duncan?
Mm-hmm.
Tom?
1 from me.
Okay, Russ?
2.
Okay. Theme tune.
Pretty good.
I love
3.
this theme tune.
An absolute banger.
Yeah, it's a 5 from me on this one.
5.
I'm going to say 4, but I love it, yeah.
3.
Shame about everything else to do with the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down, 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 down.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Jack White, and also I will not hear a bad word said about Jack White.
No, it's great, and it fits nicely
And
and thematically
Alicia
with
Keys.
the
Alicia Keys.
with the previous one as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel disjointed going from that to this.
It is distinctly a Jack White song as well. Like, especially the bridge, the do 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 do. It kind of builds up to the ding ding ding. Yeah, it works really well.
But it's
That's
got
5
those
for me.
classic Bondy elements in it.
I'm on a mission for Her Majesty.
Yeah. So
It didn't really do it for me. It sort of does, and it sometimes doesn't. So it actually just gets a 3 from me. I like it, but it's not. It doesn't fit my beans.
there's so much shite you've given 5s to, Duncan.
That's what I'm like. No, GoldenEye is a fucking brilliant song.
For Your Eyes Only,
nobody's
is a
disputing
shite
that.
song.
I didn't give it a 5.
You gave it a high score though.
I quite enjoy it.
Come on,
but-
we can, as they would say at work, take this offline.
Okay,
Whatever the
cool.
fuck
So
that means.
That's a high score. Film.
All right, I'll
it's-
give it a 4 then.
I'm joking. You've got. It's in. It's
You
in,
didn't give GoldenEye a 5, so you're wrong on that.
We're in a hurry, but please keep arguing.
GoldenEye's not worthy of a 5. Anyway, let's go. The overall score.
Overall scores 3.
Yeah, I want to give it a higher because I want to like all the Daniel Craig ones, but I don't like it. So it's a 2 as well. Yeah, I'm with
2
Tom.
from me, man.
Yeah.
I'm really quite enjoying it. Oh, 5.
5. You see, that's what I'm talking about. And you're giving it a 3. Did you say?
Opinions. I will say, Emma did say about the Royal Albert Hall performance of all of this. She said actually the song was a lot better when it was done in the Royal Albert Hall than when performed by other people.
The person who wrote it. But okay.
By the person who wrote it. Yeah?
So 4, 9, and 12. Cool.
Right, we're halfway through. We're 52 minutes in.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we're doing it. I don't care if we're going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. We're getting this done tonight. I'm not doing Bond anymore.
So a few years later, out comes Skyfall, and Skyfall is a great film.
Yeah.
From start to finish, Bond starts as a washed-up 00, brought back into the fold.
So washed up, he's reduced to drinking beer like a fucking pleb.
With a scorpion on his wrist.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
that scene.
So cool.
It's a bit GQ, isn't it? I'm really slumming it. Oh god,
I
down
really
to my Italian beer.
I really want to wank on about how good this film is, how great it is that Moneypenny is a badass agent, and I also want to wank on about how fucking fabulous the villain is in this film, because he is great, a disgruntled 00 who's just now making up his own secret missions and living life how he wants to do it. He feels like Bond's warped equal, and it's great. It's fucking brilliant. There are some fabulous scenes in it, fabulous chases, fabulous gunfights, and it's a proper return to form. And the siege of Skyfall Manor is fucking fantastic as well.
Yeah, it's amazing, and so like small scale compared to your normal climax of a Bond film. It's just it's just really serious Home Alone.
Judi Dench is the Bond girl in this film,
basically. Yeah.
And I love that. Is this the first one with Ben Whishaw as Q as well?
Yeah, who's phenomenal. Still can't think of him as anything other than Pingu.
Paddington.
Well, Paddington.
He's Paddington.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but in Nathan Barley, he's Nathan Barley's little media assistant.
I thought you meant the actual Pingu.
If Ben Whishaw turned out that, I mean, he must have been about 3 at the time.
I was about to say, it was quite a while ago.
I think go,
but as actually Dan said, I think a while back, he said, like, Q in the Craig films becomes just as important a part of the team as anyone else. Like, he's not just, Dennis Llewellyn, who was brilliant as Q. I'm not saying he's bad, but, being that sort of like cheesy comedy moment where all the things are going wrong in the background.
What's the line?
Q is just a quartermaster, issuing him with a gun and a radio. Not exactly Christmas, is it?
Yeah, I can do more on my laptop before you've had your first cup of Earl Grey.
No, he says, I wager I could do more damage on my laptop before I've had my first cup of Earl Grey than you could ever do in a year in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what starts the whole, like, Bond going, well, what do you need me for? Well, every now and then a trigger needs to be pulled.
Mm-hmm.
And gives him the gun with the dermal implant, so it can only be fired by Bond. That's pretty cool.
Javier Bardem is just so good at playing villains, just in general.
Oh, he's creepy as well. Like when he removes the dental prosthetic.
You forgive the fact that his plot makes 0 sense and relies hugely on luck. But fine, whatever.
They do the whole Joker thing with him dressing up as the police officer as well, don't they? So
yeah,
but it's a great film. Like, I don't really know what to say about it. It's kind of, Bond's not in the best in everyone's good books again, and he's out there, but he's still going to go and do his thing, and he's going to go. The whole point of this film was about going lo-fi, wasn't it? Like, so it's about, like, he doesn't get many gadgets. It's the DB5 in this film again, isn't it?
Yeah, inexplicably, the gadget-filled DB5 appears.
Which he drives to Scotland.
Like, that is a bit weird. Like, 1, that car was real, and 2, somehow he's allowed to just have one for personal use.
And the most unrealistic thing is he drives it up to Scotland without it breaking down.
Well, yeah.
So,
it's seemingly not needing to stop for fuel. And
those 4-litre engines were notoriously unreliable.
So it was filmed. Skyfall House was filmed at the head of Loch Etive, and we were working. This is a Dunkadote.
No, this might be no. Keep going, Duncan. This could be good.
Oh, it's not that good. We just ended up drinking in such an arse. We met up with some of the support crew, and the guys who are shipping everything around, and they said, they told us exactly the location it was being filmed in, because we were based in Ballachulish, and that's just around the corner it's not exactly around the corner, but we met the support crew who were filming at the time. They were filming in fucking Loch Etive, and you couldn't go down to Loch Etive because there were all the fucking police and shit blocking the road.
Also, don't go into that house. That is just rigged. It's explosives everywhere. So
yeah, no, I love it. It's basically it's a relationship story about him and M. really. That's sort of the main thread
and
throughout
also
it.
Introduces Ray Fiennes as the next M, Mallory. Which,
even he's brilliant. Like, he starts off and you're like, who's this prick? And by the end, you think he's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh my god, the new M is so cool, man. I wish I was his boyfriend. Yeah.
There's that great last scene as well. Like, he's back in what looks like the original M's office. It's all gone back to like wood paneling and naval pictures on the wall and stuff like that.
Rory Kinnear is Tanner as well. I know he's in Quantum of Solace, but he's very good at this.
Yeah, he's great. He's one of my favourite Tanners.
Yeah, definitely. He's much better in this than he is in fucking Penny Dreadful as well. And constantly bang on about fucking poetry the whole time. It's Frankenstein's monster. Fuck off. Anyway,
should we rank this?
Yeah, let's do it.
When the sky falls, don't crumbles, don't touch my balls.
I've been singing that all night, and Sarah just turned the light out whilst I was in the shower because I was singing it, because the light switch is on the outside, so I've learned not to sing it now.
You've got to skyfall.
It's not an easy song to sing if you don't have Adele's range.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what is it?
Okay, so gadgets.
And
Aston
cars.
Martin DB5, Audi A5, Jaguar XJ, Land Rover Defender, Range Rover L322, Land Rover Discovery 4, and Mercedes S400.
And it has to get extra points for the fact that they home alone a house as well.
Yeah, it's getting 4 from me, mainly for the home aloning and the fact that it's got the DB5 fully tricked out.
Yeah. And the DB5 no longer has single-barreled machine guns. It has fucking Vulcan guns.
Which I'm pretty sure if it would propel the car backwards at about 60 miles an hour if you actually fired those things.
Yeah.
And they would take up most of the interior space of the vehicle.
It's a 4 from me.
It's a Foxy 4.
Yeah, 4.
4's all round. Okay. Names. I've forgotten what
Thingy
Silver. I'm going 3. They're not particularly inspired.
Yeah, I'll go with. I think 3's a good score. I quite like that.
The modern films aren't going to do well on the silly names front.
Also, do you find out she's Moneypenny until the end of the? You don't find out she's Moneypenny to the end of the film, do you? Like you always kind of assumed.
You knew she was. I mean, it was. Yeah. I think it was one of the things everyone knew she was before the film came out.
But it's one of those. It's what Nolan wanted to do with the whole Robin look at camera wink thing. But they actually followed it through and went, no, this is actually Moneypenny, and she's going to be Moneypenny.
Well, she's the one that shoots him.
Exactly.
Of course, the problem at the beginning, isn't it? She. 2 for the names for me.
2. I'm going to give it 3.
3.
Mr. Duncan.
3.
Oh, okay. So we've done gadgets. We've done names. We've done villains. Oh, I love this villain. It's a 5 from me because I will. Javier Bardem won me over with No Country for Old Men, and since then, anything he's in, I'll watch and enjoy.
Say my name.
Yeah.
I know you remember it.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a 5 for me.
Yeah.
He's a good villain.
I'm going 4 because his plan relied exactly on a train happening to be going past at the exact right moment for him to drop a quip, which is just unrealistic.
Yeah. The rest of it is firmly based in reality.
Yeah.
So yeah. Duncan.
I go 4. I would prefer always another accessory villain, if you know what I mean. There's no on a top type who would be a great villain. Forget the name.
There's not really a henchman in this, is there?
Yeah, it's not like a pre-level boss. You know how you have the main boss, and then you usually have someone who's
it does have one of those.
It's him all the way through, isn't it? Yeah. So.
But it does have a bit where he punches a guy into a Komodo dragon.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Also, the shooting, where Bond's aim is off, and they shoot the woman as well. That's quite tense. I don't know. Song.
You've got
4.
I mean, it's inspired an ongoing joke on this podcast, so it gets a 5 for me.
Oh my god!
Just for the joy it brings me.
I can't.
It is a great song. Okay, it's good. It is good, and it's a good callback to classic.
Yeah,
it's well done.
Era. Is it though?
Yes.
It's just Adele moping about again. like she does on every one of her songs.
She's not moping about. She's not been moping about since her second album. She's all happy now. That's why the songs aren't as good.
Still, she's ruining fucking Cure songs. I can't forgive her for that.
It gets a 4, and you can knock up the previous one to a 4 as well. So you can give, what's it called, Quantum of Shoelaces an extra point.
Duncan, don't give in to pressure because I'll just keep going.
Overall score for the film.
Hang on. Did everyone give a score for it?
Yeah, 4. I love Skyfall. I think it's a lovely song.
Yeah, okay. You gave it 4. Russ?
4.
4. Tom gave it 5. He's getting a 2 from me. God, maths just went completely out the window. It's really easy as well. Okay, cool. Overall score, it's a great film. It's getting a 9. It's getting a 10. I'm going to give it a 10.
I'm going 10.
Yeah.
Cracking movie.
It doesn't get a 10 from me, I'm afraid. It gets an 8.
Fair enough.
I was torn. I'm torn between like a 9 or a 10. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Cool, no worries. So 29, 37. Cool. Okay then. So, Tom, the last one so far.
The last one.
Bum, bum.
So the last one that we're going to be covering is, of course, Spectre, which was the 4th Craig film. Came out another few years after this one. And
a few years.
okay, a few years after that, and kind of revealed. It was almost like the denouement, really, for everything. All the films that had come before it kind of tried to weave them all together to show that these were all.
Yeah, I think tried to is the right way of describing that.
Yeah, it's a very long film. It's problematic, yet there are certain scenes of it that are very brutal. But again, it suffers for me like Quantum of Solace suffered. I find it very hard to actually piece together what was happening and when and why and how it all came together. There were some very cool scenes, like the cable car chase was awesome. The bit where Bond is tortured by having parts of his brain stabbed with needles was really cool. I thought Christoph Waltz cannot seem to act badly ever in anything he does.
He's very good,
great.
Isn't he?
He's just great. Like, he is brilliant. But it's interesting that they decided to, bring him back as Ernst Stavros Blofeld.
And they did the thing that Star Trek tried to do by having him say his name.
And then
but it doesn't fucking mean anything to anyone that he's saying it to. So there was
this is exactly like the Robin moment in Dark Knight Rises, where it's like, maybe you should use your real name, Robin. Well, that doesn't mean anything. We've seen him not be Robin throughout this entire film. It's you're trying to get something that you haven't earned, and that's the same with this. I don't remember anything about this bloody film.
Do you know what's really interesting is I made a massive glaring error in my notes about this in Spectre, which I've ranked. It's not a particularly highly ranked one, but it just said Christopher Walken is great, ambition is good, falling short isn't excusable after Skyfall. So
Christopher Walken is great, but unrelated to this movie.
It's totally unrelated. But I do think I'm right in that last sentence. Ambition is good, and I think that Spectre was a grand, ambitious, very ambitious film. But falling short after Skyfall was almost unacceptable because they managed to bring the films back on track after Quantum of Solace, and then they fucked it up again.
Trying to link them all together, it just doesn't work. Especially after like Quantum of Solace not being able to fulfill its sort of proper narrative role in this being an overarching plot.
And it turns out that Blofeld's entire reason for doing this, when he goes, "It was me, James, all of it was me, it was all just I'm basically trying to piss you off and make you go mad," because it turns out that we were, I was the actual son of the father that adopted you and loved you more than he loved me, and I've got daddy issues, and this is why I've made you suffer by trying to take over the world with sex trafficking and oil shortages and fuck. And it's like, dude, you need to just smoke some weed and chill the fuck out, man. Like, you've taken this way too seriously. Like, if you're gonna leave a shit on someone's doorstep, fine, But if you're going to set up a fucking global, world-spanning evil empire, you've got issues. You've really got issues. And then to scar him up like the traditional Blofeld as well. I lost the plot at that point. It's like, oh no.
I mean, I don't think you were alone.
No.
Pretty certain this film also did that.
It's too long. It's too wrapped up in its own cleverness. And again, like this huge like narrative leaps. There's like the bit where they're like, oh, we've tracked Mr. White to this. I think she's like to like one country or something, and the next scene is Bond driving up to his house. Like, how the fuck did you find him? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's only because he stumbles into the meeting where they're talking about we have to end the Pale King. That is quite a cool car chase, though. That is a really cool opening car chase.
The fight on the train's quite cool.
Mr. White returns as well, doesn't he, in Spectre?
Briefly,
Briefly, and then gets killed. But,
they have that quite cool...
He commits suicide.
There's like that laden with symbolism conversation with them sitting across a chessboard from each other, but apparently Bond doesn't notice the massive fucking CCTV camera in the corner.
The spies aren't very good at noticing things like that, to be fair.
No, they're not.
That's one of the things they're famous for.
They're not trained to notice when they're being watched.
No. Yeah.
Or...
Which is really weird, considering in Casino Royale he notices every single fucking camera.
You didn't notice that, James? No. How many had you had?
I mean, maybe it was just because it was a rare moment that Emma and I ended up going to the cinema, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was still a good fun. I agree, it was too long, as they were trying to do too much, but Christoph Waltz is just worth watching anyway, so I just really enjoyed it because he basically saved the film, I think. It's an interesting plot. The concept that he is the mastermind, and that they finished the film where you could just say, that is the film, that is Bond. That you could finish Bond there, because he basically walks away and he can be happy ever after, and I love a happy ever after, because I'm a soppy twerp. The bit that actually really annoys me the most is when he's using his pistol to shoot down the becking helicopter, and I can't. I think it's because it might be because that is the point that is maybe the straw that broke the camel's back, where most of it is tenuously like, oh come on, don't be so bloody daft, that would never happen.
Is a bit like he's meant to be a good shot, but he's using a pistol firing at a moving helicopter while he is on a boat.
No,
like that is like world class marksmanship.
Yeah, he is James fucking Bond. You know. I'll go through the cars quickly. Alfa Romeo 159, Jaguar CX-75, the Jaguar XJ8, Land Rover Defenders, Range Rover Sports, Discovery Sports, Mercedes S-Class, Rolls-Royce Silver Wraith. The DB5 appears in Q's lab, being rebuilt after the end of Skyfall, and of course the £3 million prototype DB10, which Bond steals and then eventually crashes in the Tiber, is really cool as well. It has a rear-facing double-barreled gun sticking out of the Aston Martin badge, which Q didn't load with any ammunition, so it's useless. It's got a rear-facing flamethrower, ejector seat, parachute, and yeah, as I said, it ends up in a river, a very big river.
Isn't Batista driving a Lamborghini though? Or is it the Jag he's driving?
That's a Jag.
He wouldn't fit in a Lamborghini, would he?
No.
It's a Jag.
Shall we get some final scores then?
Let's do it.
Awesome. Okay then, let me bring up the scores.
You've got to Spectre.
Okay.
This was Sam Smith, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Yeah.
I don't have a neck. I don't have a neck.
Just quickly though, Dan says a little disappointed by Skyfall. It pretty much undoes
change of approach that came with Casino Royale. Then says Spectre, ridiculous villain. The reveal of Blofeld being Bond's foster brother, the mastermind of all these schemes, is almost the level of a secret evil twin soap opera trope. Boring love interest as well. Huge step down from Vesper Lynd. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty accurate.
I agree. I concur. Okay, then let's gadgets.
Yeah.
Smart blood. Implanted the nanoparticles allows Q to branch to monitor his whereabouts via satellite. Omega Master wristwatch. Built-in explosive charge, 1 minute timer. So and an automated Nine Eyes surveillance system, automated surveillance technology system secretly funded by Spectre and used by C as a means of creating an intelligence network between the United Kingdom and 8 other countries.
There is actually quite a nice moment where Q gives Bond, where Bond goes, "Can I have this?" to the about the DB10, and Q goes, "No, you can have this." And he looks at the watch. He's like, "Does it do anything?" And Q goes, "It can tell the time."
It's a 2 from me on this one. It's for gadgets. It's not.
Oh yes, it's a 2. Yeah. It's definitely a 2.
Yeah. Gadgets. What do I have for this? Yeah, 2.
Even the DB10 doesn't save it for me.
I quite like the watch. 3.
Yeah, fair play. So that's 9. Villains. It's a 2.
2.
What a waste.
Yeah.
Amazing actor, but it's just not worthy of it being Blofeld.
No. Duncan?
Yeah, 2. It's just because it's only Blofeld. Everyone else is like a nameless. It's even more nameless than previous ones.
So that's 2 from everyone. I think names. Like the fact that Blofeld's in it kind of annoys me.
Yeah.
So like.
His name was Oberhauser, wasn't it? Or Oberhauser.
Franz Oberhauser.
Oh, okay. Maybe it gets a few extra point or an extra point.
And there was also a henchman called Mr. Hinks.
True.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3.
Right. Yeah, 3 from me as well.
Me.
Yeah, 3 from me.
2. Yeah. Okay then. Song.
-1.
I don't have a neck. I don't have a neck.
It's dreadful.
It's the fucking. Oh, it's so down the back of the sofa. Oh, look what I found. A song that we can use. It's bum fluff.
It doesn't go anywhere. The song, you keep thinking it's going to okay, this is where it's going to explode, and then it just doesn't go anywhere. It drops off again. Boring. It's boring.
Didn't he say he recorded it? He wrote and recorded it in about 20 minutes. But you can only say that if you've just done a really cool song. If it sounds like a song that somebody tossed off in 20 minutes, that's not a good thing to say.
If you say that about Stairway to Heaven, it's different from saying it about this show.
Yeah.
Okay, so they got a total of 4 from us, so well done, Spectre. And
how did it get a total of 4?
Because we each gave it 1, didn't we?
No, I gave it -1.
You really are giving it -1. You really hate it that much?
Yeah, so it gets a total of 2.
We're really playing with the narrative now, like the last one. Okay, so film.
It gets a 7 from me. I did enjoy it.
It gets a 3 from me though.
4.
Where is it on my list? 19. So yeah, that's probably a 3.
That then. Let's add this up quickly. If you guys can just fill time while I do this.
So so I had some bourbon biscuits today at work, which were very nice.
Is Dan everything? What would be really helpful is if Dan had some sort of computer in front of him that he could be typing these all into.
That's what I'm fucking doing, all right? I've done it. So thank you for filling the time. Just quickly, Paul Edge says apparently they gave Sam Smith an advanced copy of the script so he could crap that out.
So he knew everything that was going on and he still sang about not having a neck. I mean...
He very clearly didn't read that script.
No. I mean, there is also the line going, we now know what C stands for. And cunt, but
he doesn't say that, does he?
It's coward.
That would have been better if Bond had just gone.
We now know what C stands for, don't we?
He says cunt. Coward, but it's such a pause where he's thinking you're meant to think that. Well, you are if you're me.
I know, we all knew that, Duncan.
So Duncan, that's another one to go in the. That goes in the autobiography.
I wouldn't say you're in trouble. I'd say you're all fucking dead. Anyway, do you want the from bottom to top how we rank the Bond films?
Okay.
Let's do the definitive one. I'll give it the sort of the poignancy that this moment requires.
Just bear in mind we're going for an hour and 20 minutes, and I really need a wee.
Cool. So let's long this one out then, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So
bottom to top.
In last place, Die Another Day.
Yeah, deserves it.
Moonraker, just above it.
Silly.
Yeah. Octopussy, just above that.
Also silly.
Spectre comes in below Quantum of Solace.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. I wonder if that's got anything to do with the fact that someone gave it -1.
No, I do actually agree with that. At least I think Quantum of Solace was trying,
because it was under Quantum of Solace by 1 point.
Whereas Spectre is just
-1.
trying. Nice use
Quantum
of the two meanings of the word trying there.
Yes.
Do you know what saves Quantum of Solace? It's actually the song.
It's Quantum. Yeah, that's another way of looking at it. The solid song from Quantum of Solace saved it. Diamonds Are Forever above that. Then Tomorrow Never Dies. Then The World Is Not Enough. Man with the Golden Gun.
The World Is Not Enough has been hard done by there. It's a better film than that. Yeah, but never mind.
Man with the Golden Gun. Then For Your Eyes Only, or as I've put, or Your Eyes Only. On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, brilliant.
Thunderball.
So we're now firmly in they're pretty good now territory.
Dr. No.
I just rewatched Thunderball. They were a bit too in love with the whole underwater filming, and those sequences go on way too long.
Way too long.
Yes.
Then View to a Kill comes in at number 11.
Oh, classic.
View to a Kill is great.
Here's the top 10.
Okay.
From Russia with Love.
Excellent.
What? That far down?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are all good films.
Yeah, fair enough.
You Only Live Twice, number 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. License to Kill, number 8.
Okay, cool.
Living Daylights, number 7.
Classic.
Skyfall, number 6.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Really? Okay, cool.
Spy Who Loved Me, number 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Live and Let Die, number 4.
Excellent.
GoldenEye, number 3.
Number 3?
Wow.
Ooh.
That's high.
Casino Royale, number 2.
Oh!
Wow.
And pipping both of them by... Actually, Casino Royale, GoldenEye, same points. So it's joint number 2.
Nice.
Pipping both of them, number 1 by 1 point is Goldfinger.
Goldfinger.
Classic. There you go.
Goldfinger is phenomenal.
Well done, guys. We got there.
I quite like that list.
That's a good list.
Yeah.
I also love that Goldfinger is still the best Bond film. It's just you can't surpass it.
Yeah.
But you can't. He can never. There'll never be a torturing Bond scene as good as the laser up the balls.
I love that that's the way he decided to do it as well.
Yeah. No.
I love that bit.
Should we start with the head? Balls first. No.
I love that bit in Alan Partridge.
Because he's not even trying to, as he makes a point of saying, he's not even trying to torture him or anything. He's just trying to kill him. So I'm going to do it with this very slow laser through your gooch.
I love the bit in Alan Partridge where John the Mancunian builder just goes, I love that bit where he gets the laser up his jaffers. I think you'd make a good Bond, Alan. Do you really think so?
Amazing. Right. So, a mere half hour over. That is our Bond films ranked and sorted. And that's definitive until we've finally seen No Time to Die, and we'll have to do this all again.
Let me just wrap this up then. So thanks very much for watching. Wave, everyone. Wave just very quickly. Russ and I need to pee, so wave desperately. And also thanks very much for listening as well. If you did, thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for listening. If you want to, share any of your news, views and opinions on the lists, Head to our social media feeds on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Use the handle @TMTOOH. Don't forget that in our Instagram bio, you've got the link to our Discord server where you can go and have a chat with us and various other people who are on there as well. And there's loads of pods coming. We've got all of these Bond podcasts going to be loaded in one dump. There's bound to be some stuff that Dan might want to very quickly say before Russ's bladder implodes.
There's nothing coming out.
Imploding is the last thing that's going to happen to it.
Next week, there's actually loads of news that we've just been neglecting because we've been waffling on about Bond for 6 hours.
It's not news anymore. It happened a month ago.
Yeah, I think we'll do a news episode next week.
Excellent.
Then fun stuff, and then we're going to do World Cup of Christmas film stuff. But winner of the World Cup of horror icons. Controversial, I think. It came down to Bruce and Hannibal Lecter, and Hannibal Lecter won.
Interesting.
Excellent.
Well, there we go. Like I said, go to any of our social media feeds and do that. There's a small dog there, and we're going to.
That is a dog for anyone who was uncertain.
That is, yes. There, we're going to say goodbye to Russ.
Ta-ra.
We're going to say goodbye to Duncan.
Ciao, babes.
We're going to say goodbye to Dan.
Goodbye.
We're going to say goodbye from me, goodbye from the small dog, and on that note, let's cue the fucking music.